wait. All right, here, balance mode changes. The patch. The brawling mechanic is the out of combat heal thing. We have seen the brawling mechanic create more interactive gameplay when it comes to lifesteal and out of combat healing. One thing we didn't like was that anti-heal items like Divine Ruin, a player could still be anti-healed by their opponent and receive the debuff from not brawling. We're changing the amount of time it takes for you to not be considered brawling and the duration of the anti-heal items to match, so that a player should only be debuffed by one or the other. This will also increase the amount of healing from certain god abilities that remove the user from combat, like Sun Wukong's ult. Time brawling 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Cool. I like that change. This will increase, like they say, this will allow Sun Wukong shit to work a little bit better. I'm a fan. This is cool. This will allow characters who do this brawling buff, debuff, has always been a Band-Aid, but it's been a skinny Band-Aid. It's hard to fix the healing situation. I think that this is respectable. I think it's not, like I've seen people call this a lazy solution. I don't think it's lazy. I think it's inelegant, which is probably what they mean, but you know, whatever. I think it's inelegant. You could find a more elegant solution, something more like interwoven with the gameplay. But I'll be honest, technically it was my job to find a solution, and I fucking couldn't either. Like, I was on this team when they made brawling. Yeah, dude, this is the best we got. It's hard. And so I don't mind the change here. I think that this is appropriate. Or I don't mind brawling in general. I think it's appropriate. And I think this change from 3 to 5 fixes some of the issues like SWK. Cool. Conqueezy. Support spends so much time thinking about their teammates. We want to think a bit about them in 9.7. Oh, how cute. We're seeing supports fall behind in experience a little too much in Conquest, particularly at a higher level of play. The increased shared experience bonus will help support mains at all skill levels, and the increased experience from mid-harpies will help the supports and mids that are on time for the contestable farm. So, this is good. We complained about it when it first came out, but this is good. I'm okay with this. Mid-harpies are worth, I don't know what these numbers mean for real, but they look like they were worked on pretty diligently, so sure. They seem small. This seems small. This seems like a small to medium change, like 2 out of 5 on the strength scale, so to speak. And that's probably the change you want to do, because you can slowly triple beam balance this type shit. I like this choice here. Glyphs were introduced at the beginning of Season 9 and have been a major success. Players have been requesting more, and we are happy to deliver. The major points we wanted to address with this round of glyphs were 2 of the common pieces of feedback we got from the first iterations. 1, there isn't a good option for each god archetype. A good example would be here, like combo mages that have OCDs and minimal CC, like Sprygen and Merlin. These gods do not care about the attack speed of Nimble Rathuti and cannot easily confirm the meteor from Calamitous Rathuti. Agreed. We don't expect every single archetype to have a perfect glyph, even after this round of new items. But the more types of gods that have a glyph they are excited to build, the better. And 2, some gods wanted the passives that the glyphs provided, but they were required to build an item that didn't really synergize with their kits in order to get it. Jotun's Ferocity, for example. A strong passive that enhanced Assassin's Love, but gods like Arachne and Bakasura don't need Jotun's Wrath. So with this round of glyphs, some existing glyphs will be moved to a new tier 3 item. They'll keep their passives but receive new names and art. Any item that lost a glyph will get a brand new one to replace it. So first up is Jotun's Wrath. First up on the list of items with glyphs that are receiving a change is Jotun's Wrath. That's what I just said. As stated above, we feel that Jotun's Ferocity is a strong, fun passive. It just wasn't in the right home, and I agree with that. It felt weird. This exact situation felt weird when you were buying Jotun's Wrath on Bakasura because you wanted the tier 4. So Jotun's is for ability-based physical damage dealers at 1 CDR. Jotun's Vigor fits nicely and won't be receiving any changes. Cool. Jotun's Ferocity is being removed to make room for Jotun's Cunning. Jotun's Cunning leans into the CDR identity of Jotun's Wrath, giving gods like that want to poke with their abilities to do so more often. So Jotun's Vigor remains the same. Jotun's Vigor will be Jotun's Vigor, if you drop below 40% health, you gain movement speed and a 30% Fizz ability lifesteal for 5 seconds. And then the other one, Jotun's Ferocity, is your next basic attack, blah, 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 you want a basic attack thing. That's being taken away, and now it's being added with every time you damage an enemy with a god with an ability, you gain a stack of wit. 2 stacks, your next ultimate ability that damages an enemy god is 15% of its cooldown instantly refunded. So I don't hate this as cool, thumbs up. However, does this at 2 stacks, does this mean every third ability, your next non-ultimate ability that hits gets 20, or does this mean at 1 stack your next non-ultimate ability? Like, no, that's not true at all. Okay. It's just this technical limitation that they have to do in order to confirm it on the 3rd hit. You have to gain stacks. It's just weird looking at this as like stacks. I wish they could do it a different way, but they can't, so whatever. So basically, you get to sign in every 3rd ability you hit has a shorter cooldown. Cool. I like that. That feels a lot better than trying to choose between one or the other. As mentioned above, the low CDR minimal crowd control made it 7 magic glyph option. Even though Nimble product Tahuti has been successful in incorporating into magical ADC builds, we felt that here was necessary to give many viable options. Don't worry. Mage ADC Ratatouille is being moved. But yeah. So Calamitous Meteor. This one, when you hit an ability after a while, it hits hard. Right? Like that's the whole thing. Calamitous Ratatouille. Successfully hitting an enemy god with an ability calls out a meteor that lands after a second, dealing a ton of damage. It can only happen once every 30 seconds. So if you're a spammer, you're not really getting anything from it. The other one was giving you attack speed and power and shit. So you still get the meteor one for the Scyllas in the world. But they're removing the basic attack one for Perfected Rod of Tahuti. Damaging an enemy god with an ability marks them for 3 seconds. Damaging them a second time with another ability consumes the mark and gives you movement speed and reduces your non-ultimate ability by 1.5 seconds. Alright. I like that change. That is going to be annoying. Raijin is going to be very, very powerful after this. He's already very good at chasing you down, but he's going to be extra good at chasing you down. Characters like Iset will be really, really attractive. I think Morgan Le Fay will use this really, really well. You know, when we look at these mid lane mages that aren't really selected, I think that a lot of them will vibe very, very well with that for sure. Our first new tier 3 item is going to be Bancroft Talent, one of my favorite items in the game. Mage ADCs will... I hate that SMITE has officially... Like, SMITE should not say ADC. Like, we can use it in casual conversation, might even be able to use it on the broadcast, but SMITE should not say ADC. There is no attack damage kit. Like, the argument you could say is ADC just means characters that kill you with in-hand attacks versus abilities, independent of what it stands for. Attack, damage, carry. But I don't know. We call it Hunter for a reason. Mage ADC, I think you call it Magical Hunter. Like, I just don't like seeing the term ADC from SMITE, from like the source, you know? It feels woof. Anyway, mage ADC mains, don't worry, because your ability to use Nimble isn't going anywhere with Nimble Bancroft Challenge. Fran and Soul can do it. They can get an early power spike out of like Bancroft, and then invest a little bit of gold later on to make it scale properly. Bancroft Claw is a new glyph designed for those short range mages that are, for lack of a better term, getting in there. Like Jean Cuisador, Hades, Chonga. Cool. Melee mages. Hubba. The passive of Bancroft Claw uses magical power to count, so taking Guardians can't use it. Cool. Nimble Bancroft Talent. Cool. Bancroft Claw. For every 15 seconds, get a stack. Abilities cast within 30 units of enemy gods consume a stack, dealing bonus damage equal to 0.5% of their max HP for each 75 magical power you have. So probably like 0.5, probably like 2.5 really. Each god damaged by hunger. So that can hit multiple. Abilities cast within 30 units of enemy gods consume a stack, dealing bonus damage to their max HP. So even if you miss the ability, they're taking that max HP damage, and that can hit multiple targets. Every target damaged by hunger gives you a shield of 1% of your max HP for every 75. So again, it's like 2.5. Well, that's more like 5%. Because you assume you have like 500 to 600 power realistically. Late game, you get a red buff and a potion, you get like 700, 800 power, right? But 5 to 6 is kind of like an expected. So you figure like 5% of your max HP. It can't exceed 35%. Maybe I'm doing the math wrong there. You remove Hakate from the game? I guess so. Hakate, though, isn't about the lifesteal anymore. It's about the power steal. The Executioner gets a glyph, too. As previously stated, we want the power of the Yotes for us. We felt it would be better suited to the items that basic attack power gods wanted. See? Basic attack focus gods. Okay, cool. The Ferocious Executioner also had a nice ring to it, so it was the obvious fit. The Heavy Executioner is unique from every other glyph in the game that doesn't just inherit the passive from tier 3, it shreds more protections and shreds them in less total basic attack, but at a lower max. We'll see. When the traditional hunter builds may not love how it feels to have their attack speed reduced, when used in a power focused build, maybe even on some of the sides of the line building execution, the damage you put out is, well, heavy. Cute. So the Ferocious Executioner is where we're going to be finding our this one. Next basic attack, yeah, this makes sense. But the Heavy Executioner. So your attack speed is capped at 175. Silver Branch will still only provide passive once you've exceeded the 2.5. So they made sure to protect this. Interesting. I like this. I do like this. This is better than it seems on paper. They mentioned why it seems weird, but this is probably important. I don't hate this. Magi's Cloak. These are passives that are slightly more skewed towards frontliners, but feel good no matter what class you are. Magi's Shelter is perfect when your teammates can't afford to fit Magi's Cloak, but can really use a passive, or when they just aren't fucking buying it. Magi's Revenge is a much more offensive version of Magi's, allowing you to punish whoever dares to try and crowd control you. So whenever your passive consumed, I assume this is whenever your Magi's Cloak passive is consumed, the nearest allied god within 25 units gains prots from a single hard CC. So if you get your bubble popped, your teammates get a bubble for 5 seconds. I don't think that's going to be very good. Because either you get your bubble popped and your teammate gets stunned at the same time, or like, you know what I mean? I don't love this. Magi's Revenge. First guy to hit you with hard CC, you're protected because. So the first guy that hits you, that breaks your bubble, gets marked, and then you move faster towards them and take. Oh, everyone moves faster towards them, and they take 10%. This is great. 5 seconds is a very short time, but in combat it might feel longer. This is great. Holy shit. Everyone's going to have a bubble, dude. This is going to be so good. Yeah, Nemesis. Oh, man. This is a strong item. All masks are new. Let's talk masks. Dumb joke. One of those masks have been in the spotlight for a bit now. Gods like Shakad, Fenrir, Set, and Nox frequently using the item Flex as support. More recently, Lono's Ravin has terrorized backliners everywhere. Rangdas, on the other hand, hasn't really done shit. We've decided the items aren't really doing what they wanted them to do, and they're going to be reworking them now to be starter items. They're still class locked. This change allows players to achieve their goal, their class flexing dreams from the very beginning of the game. Probably a good thing. We think our players that want to play support mage want to be a support mage all game, not just after they finish their mascot. Good choice. Second, it makes these items more clearly understandable for players who are starting to foray into creating their own builds. And third, we're introducing per-level scaling of the benefits and drawbacks of each mask. Cool. Allows the curve to be smoother. Instead of just losing all your shit immediately, you gradually go into it. The same is true for Rangas, just the opposite. You're dealing more and taking more damage at a smoother rate. Finally, we can address a long-standing issue with these items through their upgrades. Even if you're building Rangas Mask, you should be building full damage, and if you're building full damage, you'll die quickly without the damage safety increase, so who cares? For Lonos, you're building full defense, you wouldn't be dealing much damage with your build, even with the damage reduction. Since the upgrades are level gated, we can put some strict rules on them in order to let you earn back your base stats. Base stats. I have so many complaints about base stats. Build the way the max wants you to, and you'll lose the debuff. Your build will naturally have its weakness still, but you won't need sure. So Protector's Mask is purchased by non-supports. It gives you 125 health and 100 mana. Decreased damage taken by 6%, scaling. Decreased damage taken by 6%, scaling. Getting the assist, like support starter assist, gives you bonus gold, health and mana. Cool. Oh, I love it. I love this. You can upgrade it at 17, I imagine. Give you a bunch of health, bunch of mana, CCR. Why would I ever gain 5 stacks of cowardice? So I upgrade my item and the game calls me a coward? Fuck you, you're a fucking coward. I'm never buying this item. Each stack reduces your damage dealt to healing armor by 10%. For each 60 prots from items, remove a stack of cowardice. So if you have 300 prots, you're not a coward. When you remove a stack of cowardice, gain a stack of bravery. For each stack of bravery, gain 3% damage bits and provide 5. I like this a lot, but I'm never purchasing this if I have less than 300. Because I refuse to let the game fucking call me a coward. I refuse to let the game call me a coward. Yeah, it's 300 prots from all items. It's like all prots. So I'll upgrade this, but only after I have 300 prots. Call me a fucking coward. You're a coward. It's not that difficult, but still, it's like a principle thing. Fighter's Mask, only purchasable by defensive characters. Gives you a little bit of power, a little bit of HP 5, and 10% CDR. This is a strong item. Increased damage dealt and taken. 6% scaling. 2 MP5 and 10% of your missing mana. So right away I'm thinking Ymir Jungle. Your ability to deal a 10% bonus ability true damage to minions. I'm also thinking Warrior's middle lane for this item. Nah, maybe. Fair amount of magical power, medium amount, a fair amount of magical power, or a fair amount of physical power, medium amount of magical power. 20 HP, still that 10 CDR. The CDR doesn't go up. You're probably buying CDR elsewhere in this build. Gain 5 stacks of weakness. Each stack increases your damage taken by 10%. For each block of power you have, remove a stack of weakness. If you remove a stack of weakness, get strength. For each strength, deal 3% extra damage and gain 2% move speed. This Rangda's Mask is still less interesting than Lono's Mask. Like, it just still is less interesting. Taking a Nox here and giving them these stats is much more interesting than taking your jungle Athena and giving them these stats. I don't hate it, but I do think and I'm only even mentioning this because they brought it up themselves. Like the idea that like Lono's Mask was used a lot and Rangda's Mask isn't. I think it is less. I think it has more to do with like the idea of Lono's Mask is to make offensive characters defensive, and Rangda's Mask is to make defensive characters offensive. And I just want to do this more often than I want to do this. So I don't think like I think this is probably a better look than like I overall like the direction of changing the idea of the masks. However, a lot of what they're talking about with respect to Rangda's just doesn't really make sense. Yeah, it's more of what role will you get Rangda's over other starters. Exactly. Like I go, okay, Rangda's Mask. This is for like Warrior Mid. Or like Mage Jungle. But it doesn't give me like the jungle stuff that like Magi that Mannequins or Bumba's stuff does. And if I'm playing Warrior Mid, or if I'm playing like Warrior or Guardian Jungle, like this is Warrior or Guardian Mid or Jungle, which if I'm in the jungle, I want a Bumba's Mask or a Spear or whatever the fuck it's called, so that I can actually sustain myself in the jungle. And if I'm playing mid or carry, I guess, well then I'm already being wooed by Bluestone and other items in that regard. Is this item better than the Bluestone that I would be purchasing otherwise? I guess it's the question. New item tree. For the first time since the Authorian items in 2019, we have a brand new item tree being added in 9.7. Say hello to the earring tree. There are 4 tier 3 items of the tree, and all bring something completely new to the table. 2 of the earrings break some long-established rules of the game in an exciting way. The other 2 are the first items to SMITE to cause something to drop on the battleground. Interesting. So, 400, you get 15 every 5. 1300, okay, so the tier 2s is where you split. So you get a tier 1, got it. Then you can build for 1300, 20 fizz power, 30 mat. So a small amount of power, 15% attack speed, and then 15 MP5. And then that builds into medium power, big attack speed, big MP5. Projectile speed is increased by 40%, but your damage is reduced by 15. Only 100 mages can buy it. Obviously, because they're ranged. Are there any exceptions to this rule? No. So, Griffin Wing earrings are designed to make your basic decks feel like a hit scan shot. Hitting your basics more easily the powerful effect, but it's cool. Sylvanas. Cool. So, sounds good on Heimdall, Sebulber says. Sure. Just because, like, Heimdall's passive kind of talks back to this one. This is interesting. This is one that I think I have to play with. Because, like, how powerful this is, like, at the highest level, this won't really be powerful because you just assume you hit your shit, right? This is an interesting item. I'm glad it's purchased, but I feel like you might be memed if you buy it. You know? You can also build it into a tier 2. 1400 for medium power. You're starting to, like medium high power, like 3.5 out of 5 on the strength scale, right? 10% CDR. Okay, Jeweled Studs is a decent item. Oh, what did they say about this? Oh, wait, we read that. Jeweled Studs gives low high power, like 4.5 out of 5 on the strength scale. CDR 30 MP5. CDR reduction cap increase to 60%. Ability damage decrease, ability healing decrease. Who doesn't love omnipotence? Using your abilities is a huge part of what makes the game fun, so now you can do it more. That's more fun, right? LOL. I like the way this is written. Just like with GW earrings, this effect is powerful enough to warrant a noticeable downside. This item is more expensive than the other rings because the downside doesn't impact Guardians enough to keep them from prioritizing this item to the high cost and the stat spread. We think that's enough of a trade-off for support Guardians to make. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that there's no defensive items. Like, this still is very cute for a Guardian. Like, I'm still going to try and buy this on a Guardian. Give me, like, Ymir freezes every 2 seconds, please. But, yeah, I think this is a good thought process, because you definitely will be squishy. Rose Spike Earrings. 1200. Now, this one builds into 2 different items. Health, HP 5, and mana. So you can build this into Manicore Spikes or Feyblast books. So, you get a lot of HP, a lot of HP 5, a lot of MP5, and a lot of CCR. A lot of stats. But no offensive stats, for what it's worth. And no prots. A lot of, like, tertiary stats, let's say. Anyway, when you hit an enemy god with hard crowd control, they drop a spike on the ground. When you or an ally pick up that spike, they gain a buff that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage equal to 3% of their max HP. When you hit an enemy with hard CC, they drop something that an ally or you can pick up, and they gain a buff that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage equal to a percentage of their own max HP. It's doubled if you pick up the spike. It lasts on the show. Alright. So I buy this on a support character. I enjoy the stats on the support character. I don't like these are all stats that I kind of want on the support, but usually I'm forgoing these. Usually these stats come alongside the prots and the CDR that I truly desire. So having an item dedicated to these stats is interesting. However, when you hit them with the Ymir freeze, a physical thing like a buff drops on the ground you can pick up that causes their next ability to deal bonus damage. This number will have to be played around with a lot. Right now, I think this might be not impactful enough. Now, if you give it to your assassin with Heartseeker, like, sure. I wonder where the buff drops, how easy it is to pick up, what the magnet level is, like how close you have to be to it to pick it up. If it's like Demon Hunter crystals, or if it's like Smite buff drop, because the Smite does have things that you can be like. I remember older buffs used to like magnetized to you as opposed to like walking directly over them. So that'll matter too. I think this number is low, especially so like it says it doubles if you pick it up. So that number might be this might be really attractive if you're playing a solo Ymir or something. Yeah, this is a solo lane item to me for sure. I like this. This is very fun. Sphinx's bauble is very fun, but like feels weird because if I'm buying this on support, I know it's like buying Chronos Pendant on support. Like I know that I can't like I'm not doing the wrong thing, but I'm kind of not doing the right thing. But the amount that I'm winning might make it irrelevant, right? Griffinwood Earring is cool and like we'll have to play with it, but I think is simply different. I don't think it's better or worse. I just think it's different. And like so we have this one which is like play style. Which play style tends to be a dirty word in the competitive world, but I think this is play style. You can pick it if you want. This item might not be purchased as much as the others because they were just better items. You know, there are just better items to be purchased. Gummy, you're right. It feels like a roguelike item. You know, useless mindfulness, like having to track that buff on the ground. You're talking about the spikes. I can see that. You know, it might just be problematic in a lower level gameplay because your damage dealer is focused on picking up the buff instead of actually doing their job, and then they get fucking owned because they're looking for the buff. That could suck. But so this just changes the way you play, not positive nor negative. This item might get overlooked just because you'll get a better item, and like you just don't need this change, and so like it's cool, but it might not be played just because not that it's bad, but other items are better. Sphinx's Bauble, I think, will get played, but will be an interesting way to see play. Whereas Manticore Spikes, I think, is you're losing a lot of stats here. But the fact that the 350 HP is a big deal. This is fun. I think this will see play. Fey-based Hopes also comes from this one, Health, HP 5, MP 5. So this gives a lot of health, though less than the baubles or the spikes. HP 5, a ton of MP 5. Anytime a god dies within you, anytime a god dies near you, or you heal an allied god, a flower drops from your ally that can be picked up by you or an ally. Pick up the flower gets a shield equal to 7.5% of their HP. I don't think. Oh, anytime an allied god dies, even. I don't think this happens enough to make. Basically, what happens is you're picturing a 5-on-5 fight. Your hunter dies, or your solo dies. So your carry picks up the shield. Theoretically, that can be what helps you turn the fight around. So that 5-on-5 fights aren't over the second somebody dies. Arena or Assault. Okay, yeah, I think this is not like I would not pick this. I would not buy this. I don't think this is good. Arena or Assault makes sense because I don't think about them. I don't like this item. So I think in conclusion with the earrings, I think they are all very cool design space. I actually really, really, really like this item. I think this item is like really well designed, interesting. It creates at lower levels. This will be purchased a lot. I don't know if it'll ever be played at a high level, and I don't know if that's a problem. I think this is cool. I think when you get stuck with a hunter that you don't know how to play in assault or whatever, This is fun. People have fun with this item, and at the end of the day, that's what design is about. I like this item. Thumbs up for me is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to give it a letter grade because I think this item is just a general thumbs up. At a high level of play, you just won't need this. And so the downside is real and the upside is not real. You know? Like, I'm hitting my shots anyway, making it easier to hit my shots, not me, but the theoretical me. If you're hitting 95% of your basic attacks and this turns it into 100, does that matter? I would say no. So I think we'll see limited use of this at a high level, but a hell of a lot of use of it in your mid and low level games. People might be toxic about you using it, but like give it the finger. Sphinx's Baubles, I think, is cool. I like this item. I think this is fun. This is my idea of a fun item. Breaking this CDR cap is very cool to me. Having it like, boy, I want to play Nox with this item. Even if I'm playing offensive Nox, I want to play Nox with this item. I think it's very cool. This is very important to make sure healers aren't buying it. I give this item a B+. I think this is a strong item. Manicore Spikes. I think that this is very cool design space. Hitting an enemy with a hard CC will drop off it. Yeah, this just says what it does. Very cool design space to make a buff drop that your teammate can pick up. I don't know if I love that design space, but I'm happy that they're fucking with it. Like I said, it feels very Demon Hunter-y. Which, like, I don't mind. I don't think there's any WoW players on the board. Clumsy plays well. But like, I don't know I don't know where you purchase this, why you purchase this, how you purchase this. It's a solo lane item that you pick on certain characters. If I'm playing like Achilles or an offensive character, I kind of just want to go in a different direction. Like anyway, like I'm probably buying like a more traditional hybrid item. Scoops brought up the fact that you might like distract your teammates. I think that's a valid concern earlier on with the item being released. So I like I like the design space. I'm not sure if I want to see a zillion items that use this design mechanic. You know, like, but I'm okay with it. We have this, and we have the shield. I don't want to see a zillion spikes and shields and flowers and petals. I don't want to see all this stuff. One or two, I think, is okay. More than that becomes problematic with like ground clutter. I like these ideas. I think this item is hopefully some long-term players recognize a small nod to the past. Is this a Naja? Naja used to die and give his teammates a shield, or I thought it was a heal, but I guess it was a shield. Naja passive used to be that, where when you die as Naja, your local teammates receive a heal or a shield or some shit. And Cupid. I wonder if the enemy can see the drops. That'll be a big part of the gameplay for sure. But yeah, I think all four of these items are well designed. I don't have a dunk. This one is cute and fun. Thumbs up out of 10. Sphinx's Bauble will see real play and will be a lot of fun to mess around with. I can't wait to play, like I said, Nox and Eset and other utility characters that I don't want to fully go like Mono's Mask on when I'm playing the mid or jungle, but I still want to be able to lean into my utility offensive. right? I like that a lot. B plus, I think this will get play. Spikes, I think, is interesting design space. Don't want to see it used too much. These stats are awkward, but it's good that they're awkward. If this item had like prots and shit on it, it would be way too easy to just auto purchase. So this is a decision to be purchased. I like it. I think you'll see this on offensive characters in that solo lane, but it'll be hard to like justify the purchase of. This is a defensive item, and it doesn't have prots, so it'll be hard to justify the purchase. But I think that's who will buy it. I'll give it a C plus. I think it's viable, but not often we'll see it used. And then this, I don't like. I just don't. Maybe it's an alternative game mode item. I just don't think that we'll see this in Conquest. This is not an F, but a D. I just don't think this is super strong. Anti-heal items got their change. That's all well and good. All right. We've seen Bumba bring the hammer. With current state, it provides damage and sustain that helps enable many warriors in the jungle. Change the stat spread. We'll hope to keep it a viable option. I guess it doesn't need the health amount. New stats, power, health, CDR, 80 true damage. After all this is the same. Healed for 120 health. This is a great change. So again, I'm baited by the talk of classes. I fucking hate classes. I fucking wish that they would just not focus on classes. I really hope in the future they don't like focus more. Like I just don't like focus on classes. I think they're a necessity for onboard experience, but just I don't like focus on classes. Anyway, keeping this item, making sure this item doesn't make you too tanky in the jungle is cool. 20% turning into 10% feels good because right now you do this weird thing where you're dissuaded from buying Jotun's Wrath. I do what I think is the correct thing in buying this and Jotun's Wrath and then selling Jotun's Wrath late game because that 20% boost of CDR in the early game is fucking huge. But then when you upgrade your Bumbas, you're getting 20% CDR, so you're usually 50 or 60% CDR. 40 cap is the cap, so you want to get rid of the 20% by way of getting rid of your Jotuns. But wait, that's my fucking glyph. What do I do? So I like this change here for the 10% CDR. I think this makes it an easier equation to solve in that regard. I think that this change from 5% scaling to $120 is a good thing that won't impact characters that are being built offensively. I think this prevents the solo laner from buying Bumba's Hammer, which is what you want to do. I don't mind Jungle Bologna, Jungle Herb, buying this item, but when you buy it in the solo lane, it does feel a little bit cheap. So, I'm totally here for it, and I'm totally here for the raid from Amanda. Thank you so much, friend. Go Bolts. Appreciate you. So, I enjoy this change. I do enjoy this change. I think this is the right change. A little bit of lag. What's up, Chithens? How you doing, buddy? Like this change. Thumbs up. Annual Stronghold. Increased conversion rate of passive from 10 to 25. Okay, cool. This is the glyph. Cool. Thumbs up. Reduced ICD of silence from 45 to 30. I think this is not good enough. I think this change is probably still not good enough. Sure. I think you just so rarely buy this item. I don't like this item. I think the ICD being brought down is probably a good thing. But realistically, I think this item, in order to be effective, needs to be too annoying. I need the ICD of this item to be fucking 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, I need to be able to Bacchus slap you and silence you. And at that point, I think it's too good. But I think it's too bad until it's too good. Does that make any sense? So, oh no. You can upgrade support starter items at 15 instead of 17. That is a giant thumbs up. Cool. More gold from Sentinel's Gift. More gold. Ooh, Relic Dagger gets an increased CDR from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. Relic Dagger is one of my favorite items in the game. I love Relic Dagger. Going back, it's not really slippery slope. It's just like the break point for when it's going to be good is too deep in the water. But Relic Dagger is one of my favorite effects in the game. I really like this item. I also think it's incredibly powerful. I think it's a lot more powerful than people give it credit for, by the way. I do think it's radically underpurchased, and I do think that we should see more of it. So this change... Is there a site that shows us the history of changes? Because I feel like Relic Dagger has been changed from 30 to 40 multiple times. Do we have a history of like changes? Because they'll give you a history of changes, I think, for gods, right? Not SMITE. Yeah. So you can get this change lock from gods. Yo, imagine using Valkyrie's discretion and being rooted to the fucking ground, dude. I think that Relic Dagger... Dude, I build Relic Dagger all the time on tier jungle. Now, how often am I tier jungling? Sure. But, like, if you're a jungler that's incredibly reliant on, like, a blink or something, I think it's really cool. I think Relic Dagger is also a very interesting option for solo laners and supports. Solo laner supports and blink reliant, I'll say characters, but obviously we're talking about junglers, right? I think that this item being only interesting to support players is probably the popular mindset, but again, I challenge. So... Tideplate Helm, the buffs to towers have outpaced the minion hat. So the minion hat... Okay, I thought this was increased by 20%. Cool. It goes from 20% health and attack speed to 25% health and attack speed. This is a meaningful buff. This makes this item purchasable, strong. Vulcan buff. Kuzenbo buff. Actually, I think once upon a time they changed the way this interacts with those characters. I think those characters no longer get minion buff for their pets. I'm not positive, but I feel like that's the truth. In which case, that makes me very sad. I feel that, Almazi. I 100% feel that. Like, let me fucking meme! Let me meme! Let me meme! That's all I want to do, dude. All I want to do is make money and meme. Come on. Tideplate Helm doesn't let me do either of those. Sentinel's Boon does. Who out there? Who out there? Where my Boon Goons at? Where my Boon Goons at? Make money, take memes. We love the Boon Goon. Mail renewal. It got reworked and nobody's buying it. So we buffed it. Please purchase. The Sledge. This used to be cool. Now it doesn't do anything. So you upgraded an irrelevant stat. Shield of Regrowth. It's fun, but it's not good enough. Now the pack... Oh, okay. So 15 power I don't think is big enough. 30 power, magical style, might not be big enough. This needs to give me like if I'm going to purchase this on Shock again, I want like 25 power at least. I want to make it rain, and then rain blows. Like, 15 power doesn't really do it for me, to be honest with you. Boon at 15 might be a good pickup. You're not wrong. This is definitely... So, support, I think, has felt really... I have this, like, itch on my, like, under... Like, I can't... My sweatshirt is too thick to like scratch it. It's like just above my elbow. That feels good. All right, we're good. I've been trying to like casually attack it this whole fucking time. All right, I look dumb for like 30 seconds, but I've looked dumb for like 8 years, so it's all good. Pythagorum's Peace. The magical penetration shifts happen. Pythagorum's Peace traded CDR for MagPen. While it's still viable, it doesn't take a mathematician. Cute! Pythagoras' theorem is the triangle thing. Mathematician. It doesn't take a mathematician to see that it's popular after the changes here. It's sportively happy and slow. Footing a bit more offensive. Remove MagPen, added CDR. It's better for supports. Cool. Increased health from 200 to 250. That's a signpost, and I don't. So, they didn't have to say this because by increasing health from 200 to 250, they're basically saying support should buy this. You've added a lot of good choices for supports, and so I think that's the wrong look. I liked the fact that it had MagPen on it, because then I could, when I was putting it into my mid-mage build, I was doing so reluctantly, but at least it would give me some pen. You know, like, this is more of a sidestep than a downgrade in my opinion, but it's like a slanty down, like sidestep. I don't love this. Yeah, like that's what I was saying, Scoops. Like, support's in a really rough spot right now, and so a lot of SMITE game meta is changed by itemization. Itemization will make the change. It'll be good. Don't love this though. Staff of Myrmidon. Grand Meridian. With the introduction of Sphinx's baubles, we felt that Staff of Mirrodin was a bit too close in functionality, and that the bauble passive felt more like a streamlined version of the break the cooldown reduction cap. Yeah, because Staff of Mirrodin used to like, you'd use your ult, and then the next ability you didn't have a cooldown, so you like ult and then 1-1 or whatever. So you can't do that anymore. Now, after you ult, you gain Myrmidon's Rage, which gives you 25% increased damage dealt, decreasing over 8 seconds. At the end of 8 seconds, you lose Myrmidon's Rage. I like this item. This song's gonna make me fucking horny. You're gonna come out here and you're gonna farm kids. Like, this makes your ultimate war flag. You like, boom, and if that's that's exactly what I'm thinking of, by the way, Agni. But like, boom, and then you just like unleash your kit, doing 20% more fucking damage to everyone. I realize you start at 25, but like, let's average it out. You're gonna hit 20%ish. That's dope. And also, Agni is going to be able to do this every 45 seconds, which is hilarious to me. This is a dope item. This is going to be the new... Like, you're just going to see this purchased on not every mage, which is cool. I think that there are some mages that are going to... Like, why would Nox buy this? You know what I mean? Like, there's just no reason for Nox to buy this. I must have been bit there or something. It's like right here. I was at the beach yesterday. I like that these items, not just this. Oh, hello. My shit. Help. Oh. Dead. Dedge. GG. Not the stream, but the fucking... Oh, no. Yep. Yep. Dedge. Chimonly. That sucks. Well, we'll go to the Discord. How do I get to the Discord? I forget. There we go. Look at Dunny dunking on Scoobs. Give him a cheese react. Come out here. Do not sell my personal information. Goddamn right. So, These are a move into what I like to see. Much more specific and specified items for specific and specified roles. If you want to see diversity in item builds, you don't remove boots. You make items have more specific usages. Um, and that's what we're seeing here with a lot of these items. I like a lot of these changes. This is a great example of this. When you look at mage in Smite, there are like if I look at mage, Agni is a different mage than Alquan, is a different mage than Chunga, is a different mage than Soul, is a different mage than Freya, is a different mage than Zhonghui. Right? Agni, so let's you've got Assassin Mage, Pseudo Assassin Mage, Mage ADC, hate that phrase. Burst Mage that casts infrequently, Burst Mage that casts frequently. Utility Mage, high damage Utility Mage, low damage Utility Mage, medium damage Utility Mage, Melee Mage, Utility, Melee Mage, Offensive. Like, there are so many different what you want to do here, and they address that in their, they address it here with glyphs. There is a good option. A good example would be combo mages like Raijin and Merlin. They don't care about the attack speed. They can't confirm the meteor. Da 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 da. Like they have acknowledged the fact that there are so many more like different types of characters. That acknowledgement is super important for me with respect to the direction of the game. And these items I think are super, super dope as an affirmation that is noticed, acknowledged, and they're planning on designing that with that in mind, which is super cool. So this is an A plus. Love this change. Thumbs up. Right now I'm in Hollywood. I'm in North Hollywood, hanging out. I have been doing the ESL mobile. That's a lie. Well, sort of, not really. Twitch.tv/ESL_mobile. But I've been doing the Snapdragon Pro Series. I'm hosting the Clash of Clans portion, and I'm casting the Brawl Stars portion, which is always super fun. I'll show you some clips a little later, but I want to finish this, whatever this is. So let's show you the patch notes. CLH. All right. Players have been asking for more crit damage reduction on itemization, but the threat of stacking a lot of those has us a little wary of adding too much, with each stack of CLH being lost on taking any physical damage from an enemy god. We feel like this is where we can start to see how it feels to have more crit damage reduction in the game. Very well said. Cool, cool, cool. So the first time you get crit, it's not going to hurt. It'll hurt the more you get crit. I like that. I also think this is the death of crit meta, which I don't like. We're looking to buff some relics. Bracer. Buff duration. Cool, cool. Drowned Ankh. The Miasma Dam. I've never seen anybody purchase this. I have to look up what the fuck it does. So the one we all know is Blighted Ankh. It stops everybody from healing, removes a bunch of shield. Anybody that's healed by it take 20% more damage, and all healing is instead distributed to your teammates. The Drowned Ankh causes a pool of miasma to form beneath them that persists. It deals 2% of the enemy's health. This is actually pretty cool. I don't know why I never see anybody buy it. I think I just don't see anybody buy Ankh in the first place. Increasing it from 2 to 4 seems like a cool plan. Thumbs up, dude. Let's take a look at Avatar. So Cloak is the aesthetic. This is meditation. So meditation got changed a while. It's that like channel. It pulses every 4 seconds. Right? Okay, cool. So the other one, each pulse reduces cooldown by abilities. Yeah, that's dope. This was really good. And then the Avatar gives you a protective barrier of wind that explodes if an enemy comes near you, knocking them back. That has to be for like arena or something. I do love the word miasma, by the way. It's a good one for sure. The setup sucks. This has to be like for fucking what's the single lane one? Assault? This has to be for like assault or something. The setup sucks. I hate it. Give me $200. Chaotic beats. I love it. It's spooky. But the changes have received. Make sure you don't instant kill yourself or seeing somebody with chaotic beats. Sure. Then change the pass from 7% to 5% health as true damage. Wait, what? Wait, do you trade your HP? Have I never read this item correctly? Any hard CC that's cleansed during this, including on activation, says the homing projectile will apply to 7% is their. This item was a bit spooky, but with the changes you received to make sure you don't institute yourself or CC somebody. So this reads like they got scared. So reading this dev note, it sounds like, listen, this was a cool item, but it was too strong, so we made the passive really, really low, and now we think with all the changes we can bring the passive up again. But then the actual change is a nerf. We think it's okay to put a... Oh, magic damage versus true damage. Got it. Okay, so... Cool. A lot of times, I like this. So this is a niche character. I like. Like I always loved doing the Fortnite double pump on Hebo. Water hands is hilarious. I do it all the time. But like, what do you do when your beads turns your cooldown from 10 seconds to 7? Like, do I give a fuck? No. So like, I guess I'll pick the other one. Sure. This is the default choice. They're just making the default choice better. Cool. Thumbs up. Oh, it keeps proccing? That can't be correct. Any hard that is cleansed during this time. Oh, I see. So when you use it, you pop beads, you get rid of the Anubis stun, homie takes damage. Ymir shows up and freezes you. You're still CC immune for 2 seconds because beads works that way, and he gets hit with damage as well. That's cute. So you can mitigate it right now with magical defense, and you're not going to be able to, which is why they lower the number, but this lower percentage is probably going to be a higher number overall. Yeah, expect more damage, folks. Just like I said, that is the default option. A lot of times players just aren't upgrading their beads because, like, I will, like, what is this? 140? What is this? 140? Like, level 2 beads is all you need, unless you're one of those characters that wants to do the silly stuff with the 3 seconds removal, right? Like, so now there's a reason for me to purchase this, because, like, that true damage is going to hurt more so than this. This is one of those, like, changes that needed to happen that, like, boy, I don't care about. Like, thumbs up, dude. Yeah, sure. Emblem of Trembling Terror. Can I tell you that this item is the best item in the game? Is that rude? Is that rude, dude? Like, horrific emblem, farms kills, all the way up until, like, level 8, dude. Like, horrific emblem is just so much better than the enemy team all the fucking time. Like, it's just so good, dude. Hit the slow button, they die. It's so much fun. Anyway, what did it upgrade into? Either increasing peril, where if an enemy deals 10% of an ally, if an enemy hurts your teammate for 10% of their HP, the debuff is super powerful, and they can't attack you. They're really slow, and it sucks. Right now, the Emblem of Trembling Terror, if you damage an enemy, you're just going to fucking kill them because they get trembled for a second and a half. This is what we call a win more item. If you dealt 30% of their max HP while they were slowed, you're probably just going to fucking kill them. There is something to be said about these burst characters that like hit them with the big thing and then have nothing in the tank. So that stun kind of helps out. That tremble kind of helps out. Let's see what they've changed it to. We didn't see a whole lot of trembling. Oh, sure. It's a win more item. That's why, like, this one, this one is nice because you usually want to use Horrific Emblem as an offensive item. You run up, you hit them, you slow button them so they can't get away, and then you just fucking beat them up, right? And so when I'm upgrading it, sure, if I beat them up hard, then they get beaten up even harder. Win more. Don't love it. This, on the other hand, allows your offensive item to become defensive as well. I go in and I beat them up, cool. But like, what happens when it's the reverse? When they're jumping me and they're beating me up? Well, slow button is still good. Horrific Emblem is still good. You hit the button and the whole world slows down, and you can kind of get away, sure. But then they jump on you, sure. But now, if they actually beat the shit out of you and your teammates, they're getting super slow. They're getting super attack speed reduction. Like 55% attack speed reduction at maximum stacks. That's a lot. And so this becomes all of a sudden a defensive option as well when it previously was just an offensive option. You can argue that this is more defensive than I'm giving it credit for, but you understand what I'm saying. It is much more useful used in an offensive situation where this gives you a defensive edge to the sword. This is a win more item. This changes that a little bit. Maybe you can turn and burn. You can like run away and turn on the guy that's killing you and make cameras up, sit there and like, but still not going to buy it. I think this is also the wrong way to do it. I think if you're not going to just change it, because I do think this just needs to be changed. What does it need to be changed to? I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. But I think that this just needs to be changed. It's a win more item. I don't like win more items. I think they're usually poor design. And this is a good example of poor, like, I just don't like the spot that it's in. And so changing it, lowering the max HP threshold to trigger the tremble, I think is the wrong mentality. I think if this is the win more, maybe you just give me a super low cooldown. Or give me if you want this to be defensive option, offensive option, give me something that speed my team up. Maybe that's OP or something. Like I said, I haven't thought about it. But I just think that this is already an offensive option. I think that I just don't see the reason to use it. Increase the range, yeah, sure. I just don't see the reason to use this item. I don't think they see the reason, the dev team, I don't think they see the reason to use this item either, which is why we kind of have this. Thundering Blast hasn't blown the doors off, so let's buff it. Sure, cool. Thorns of Overgrowth. Increase. What the fuck is Thorns of Overgrowth? I have never looked at this item, I'm sorry. So Thorns reflects 30% of the damage you take before mitts for the next 5 seconds. It's magical damage. If you're dealt 120 times your level damage while this effect is active, it ends early, so it has a cap. While this is active, your enemies can only steal lifesteal from you for 75% of their total lifesteal. That last part is very important. Thorns of Sapping Strength. So, same shit. But each basic attack from the enemy god reduces the cooldown of this item. That's rude, dude. Thorns of Overgrowth. This increases that. This decreases? So this decreases the amount of lifesteal you shut off. Never mind. I'm stupid. So Shield of Thorns makes Okay, I thought. Never mind. I misread this. I thought the enemies can only lifesteal from you for 75% of their total lifesteal. I thought that meant it was a 75% reduction, but it's a 25% reduction, and this increases it to a 50% reduction, which is good. In addition, you gain a stack of movement speed and attack speed for all gods within radius. That's kind of dope. Is that only when you use the item? Are both of these yellow texts in general, or are they only when you use the item? Thorns list. I think Thorns. So here's my deal. My thing is I wish hunters. My ideal design space for MOBAs is hunters end the game with a pentakill at 30 minutes every game, because they built items and they 2-shot you, they 3-shot you. And realistically, let's say they 3 to 5-shot you. That feels healthy. 1 or 2 shot always feels stupid, but if you get hit by 3, if you get shot 3 times by the Medusa, and it's 28 minutes, yeah, dude, what do you expect? And so Thorns is a way to stop that. At least you still might die, but they'll die, or it dissuades the hunter from coming at you, So I like the idea of Thorns in that design space. That's not always the design space we're in, so there's that. Of course you miss uncapped Thorns. Such a solo lane take. I miss Thorns. Anyway, so the yellow text works outside of use. Cool, good to know. Here, it increases the radius from 55 units to 70 units. That's cool. So 55 units is about basic attack range. 70 units is better. I like that. That's cool. Cool. God balance. Diminishing returns. Throughout SMITE's history, DR has become an invisible system to help players who receive multiple sort of the crack control of this for a period of time. 9.7 will make this system more official by providing in-game resources to help players identify when they're affected by it. So, this is the problem that SMITE has. Usually you see it more in MMOs. Invisible rules. I think MOBAs just need a rule book. You don't sit down to play Monopoly and just start rolling the dice, right? That's not how that works. You read the fucking book to learn at least a little bit, and then maybe you learn as you go. But there is some sort of in-game resource. You don't buy the game and go, so am I allowed to tackle the shortstop or not? I guess I have to Google it. That doesn't happen, right? And I think MOBAs are similar to a board game in the sense that you're playing the same game every time. There is a lot of what I like about video games usually is player discovery, but there is no player discovery with respect to a MOBA because it's more business than fantasy. It's really cool when you're playing Breath of the Wild to die because you didn't know that your character gets cold when you go to the mountains. You start to see your breath, and you're like, oh, cool, what an animation change. That's neat. And then you die. And you have to figure out that you've got to, build a jacket or cook some item to make you... That's fun in that context. But in a competitive PvP game, that's not fun. Having DR be something that you just, well, I froze him, and then I froze him a second time, and he wasn't frozen as much. That's not, fun, shin-rubbing player discovery. And so there should be no downside to having reference material. Right now, for years, the best reference material was literally made by a community member. Shout out to fucking Flairboot. His word of thought was what we looked at for so long. And I think that is very cool that it's a community member doing it. But I think it's almost that just shouldn't be the way it works. That's just not the way that should work at all. Why isn't there a fucking rule book? And so DR, I think, is something that needs a rule book. Or the game needs a rule book. And at the very least, if you don't have a rule book, every rule in the game should be depicted by way of UI. And DR, look, this seems to be the change they're doing. They're moving it to UI, which is cool. I still want a rulebook. I still want to be able to go into SMITE and go to learn and be able to click on towers and see how much health the tower has, how much gold the tower gives me when I take it down to tier 1 or tier 2, how much health the Titan has, how much health the Titan has with 5 towers or 4 towers. I still want to be able to like look up a reference book in SMITE. The fact that that's not there is, I think, I'm not going to say missed opportunity, but I'm not going to say an egregious error. I think it's somewhere in between. One, player bases aren't really trained to use it, so I think it would be underutilized once it's introduced. But I still think it should be introduced because it should be up to you to change the culture, you being the developer, to change the culture, point players to it. Everybody wants an interactive conquest fucking tutorial, which is hard to do. Watching the new streamers play SMITE for some of the first times and seeing the little markings on the map show you which buff to start at is really cool because starting strategies are player made, not developer made. And the fact that developers watched the players, figured out the cultural norm, whatever starting strategy was the cultural norm, and implemented that into the new player experience, I think is almost as good as a full-fledged conquest tutorial. The problem with the conquest tutorial is that the cultural norm of how to play conquest changes all of the time. So how are you supposed to in a game mode thing teach somebody how to jungle? Like, you just can't. You know? So I think that a conquest tutorial is kind of tough in that regard. But you absolutely can still give resources. Like, the glossary is a good start. I think this is a good start. This is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Can I type in tower? And so this is kind of what I'm talking about. Expand this, basically. You know, I want like a not just a but a full reference material. So yeah, like an official word of Thoth. Dude, crit calc in game might be too much, and I think that there is something to be said about, you know, the fun of, like I said, player discovery is not something that belongs 100%, and not something that belongs in a MOBA the same way it belongs in an MMO or an open world game or some sort of single player game. But I think the player discovery on the side of like builds and that sort of stuff, that's cool. Having some sort of like calculator. I mean, we do have the God Builder. God Builder is actually really useful for that sort of thing. Because you start to see these items change. You know? Like, you can see this for sure. But recommended items have gotten better. I've noticed that too watching the streamers play. Yeah, things like you show up on the map when attacking the wave. Things like that are hidden mechanics that I think have no place in a competitive PvP game like a MOBA. How do you teach the players these hidden rules? You know? Anybody know what type of damage towers do? Me neither. The enemy gets gold bounty for a tower falling. How much gold? If I want to make a decision of killing the tier 2 enemy tower or going for Pyromancer, how am I supposed to know what the correct choice is? Oh, never mind. I thought I didn't see this last one. I didn't see this last statement saying the game mode assault is an ARAM mode. Okay. I retract my stupid fucking face. I retract my stupid fucking face. Because this matters. You're going to have people from other game modes. You're going to have League players come through and say ARAM. And so they're giving you generic MOBA language. The game mode Assault is an ARAM game mode. I take back everything. But boy was I got fucking goofed. ADC stands for Attack Damage Carry. This term originates from other MOBAs and refers to hunters in SMITE. These gods deal a large amount of basic attack damage, especially as they gain more golden experience. I approve of this. Attack damage in other games refers to a stat that increases your character's ability to deal damage with basic attacks and some abilities. In SMITE, this is called physical power. So, again, I am appreciative that they have included the AD here because, again, you're going to inevitably... pretending that League of Legends doesn't exist is batty. Pretending that players are going to come in from other games and say, ADC, what the fuck are you doing? And me, SMITE enjoyer that's never downloaded League, doesn't know what's happening until I'm like level 30, right? So I'm down with them acknowledging the fact that this happens. In SMITE, this isn't called physical power. In SMITE, this is called basic attack power. We have items that boost that for you, like Death's Toll. Do we no longer say there used to be basic attack power on the item itself? Arrow. Basic attack damage. We call it basic attack damage. We actually call it basic attack damage. It's bad. And so by saying that AD is called physical power, that's actually incorrect. AD is basic attack damage. AP is physical power, but physical power also contributes. Like, it's weird. It's not congruent. But if you are going to take that approach, you'd probably say basic attack damage, but there's not enough in it, so there it is. ARAM has been played since back in the day, Dota 3 maps. Or Dota 3. Warcraft 3 maps. Governed by physical power. I mean, I suppose. I don't hate it. It's just like, it's nitpicky. Like, who the fuck cares, in all honesty? The glossary is, like I said, I think a lot of teams would have chosen not to include fucking ARAM, not to include ADC, because it's the other game's shit. But I think it's important to do so. Non-player NPC. It just says Scoobs. Okay. These can be friendly or aggressive entities. Yep, you're not wrong, folks. Toxic streamer. Wall. An object that blocks player. Does wall mean a definition? Does wall really need a definition? I don't know if wall needs a definition. Top. A term used in other games to denote the top side of the map, usually where a single player goes to lane. In SMITE, this is known as a short lane. Is Twink on this list? No. Okay. I'm, of course, talking about like lower level characters that are kept in lower levels, like World of Warcraft, where you have a character that's level 29 and you play specifically in the 20 to 29 level bracket. That's what I was referring to. Absolutely nothing else. Re. Is that? Oh, GG no Re. GG no Re. That's what I thought it was going to be, Donnie. I thought it was going to be like Re. This is the sound your teammate makes when they go 0-7 and then continue to F7. Rager! This one also just, no, this one says F dot. A person who has become frustrated or upset and is choosing to take it out on teammates. Players can report a player for harassment from a rager, and a mute option exists if you no longer wish to see someone raging. This is actually really good. Short lane actually means something. So short lane actually, yeah, I wish they showed it on the map because I remember playing back in the day. So when I first started playing SMITE, I immediately went to Twitch. Like I got introduced to SMITE through competitive shit, and so like I was like me and my homies were playing, and also me and my homies I was playing with like my WoW guild. You know, we're like known gamers, and so we were playing the game. We were watching all the pros do it, and we were like level 2. And our teammates were like, you know, picking Artemis and going into the jungle and not really knowing what to do and building first. And so like telling somebody to go to the solo lane, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then you'd be like, go to the short lane, and then like look at your map, and you go, okay, I'll go to the short lane. Like that makes sense. Pokey, the queen. Oh, poke. Using abilities from a safe distance to harm. Got it. Was there rage quit? Rage quit. When a player leaves the game in a frustration rather than staying and finishing up the match. This is known as leaving the game and is a reportable offense and can result in a ban if this is normal type behavior. Cool. I have actually seen this question. What is peel? I've been asked what peel means a fair amount. Portal demon? Do they have... What is it called now? What is the portal demon called? Pyromancer. Wah, 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 wah. Update. So, back to the patch notes. They are going to legitimize DR by including it not in any sort of like in-game lexicon, but by way of UI, which is like this is the standard. Like me asking for like a word of thought, a lexicon, like something more robust than a glossary, would be like that is not the standard way games do it. But I still think it would be dope. This is the standard way games do it, mainly because players, honestly, like press 1 if you knew this was here and if you actually looked at this and if you've actually used this. Like if I sat here and said PBAOE, that's probably more of a like deep cut. Not everybody understands that it means point blank AOE, right? But have you gone to the glossary and looked? Probably not. Players don't always use these resources. So a lot of times you want to include them on the UI because you can't miss it. Signs, street signs, and highway signs are really big with really sans serif fonts because you need to be able to read them going 60 miles an hour while playing with your radio. And rules in games need to be able to be read and understood while you're thinking about 3 other things and operating at 100 APM because I'm just not going to read the fucking book. I'm just not going to read the fucking manual. It's not going to happen. Don't tell me to RTFM. I just want to play my game. What's happening? Why are my phrases not happening the way I want them to? You want me to read the manual? I want you to sit on my face. Like, I don't care about you. I don't care about the book. I'm not a fucking nerd loser. You fucking virgin. I have mad bitches. I'm never reading some manual inside a video game. But if you put a big fucking red dot on my screen, now all of a sudden I understand. And so that's why the approach that a lot of these that's why you usually see a lack of in-game like reference material, but you see UIs that wind up looking, you know, like fucking, can I just Google World of Warcraft UI? You know, that wind up looking something like this. just a zillion fucking things going on the screen. So the idea that you've got this, sure, I like it. Let's go deep now. Diminishing returns are on the buff bar. The max stack increased from 2 to 4. So the stacks of DR last for 15 seconds and it's refreshed on each new application. That's always been the same. So they have decreased the level of intensity, but then have upgraded. So you can still have the same 40%, but it takes twice as long to get there. I think that's a good change, by the way, because like it is rewarding to CC chain somebody. Like you'll see, this is actually something that I do a lot in my own gameplay. You'll see me sit there and wait for the stun to run out before I deliver my own stun. And that feels good, and that's intelligent gameplay, and it should be rewarded. But with DR, it is rewarded because you're not overlapping, but it's just barely rewarded. Like, it just still feels bad. We're like, well, I nailed the stun, and I waited for it. But they were stunned for 0.7 seconds, so, like, fuck me, right? So this is a change that I like. I think it does. It rewards the player for doing the right thing. You can't DR yourself or your allies, which is cute. How could you do that in the past? How could you DR your teammates? 15 seconds is a long time. Yamoya 3? Okay, cool. That makes sense. 3 to 5 seconds is way too short. I think that this number has probably been looked at. This number was probably looked at here. And they might have even tested it, because 15 seconds, this is a number that's very important. They might have tested this at 10 seconds and decided that 15 was just objectively correct. So, cool. Thumbs up. I overall like this change. Again, give me a reference material. Give me a book that shows everything. I'm not asking for a conquest tutorial, but I think that just like the instruction manual would be really cool. You could flavorize it even, you know, and like make it cool, like whatever, dude. But like in lieu of that, putting stuff on the UI is very important. This is one less invisible mechanic, and I love it. There was a change to the last invisible mechanic we had was tower backdoor protections, and now I think there is a graphic for when minions walk into the tower area and you remove backdoor protections. I'm pretty sure there is, and so like these are the things that we want to get rid of. In officializing, is that a word? In officializing DR, we want to revisit our definitions of CC in order to assess the impact of each specific variation on a player. We've shifted around the classification of a few CC types to better fit these definitions. Additionally, some CC inherently do not respect CCR or DR rules due to specific animation code of constraints, so we have created a third classification, True Hard CC, to make sure that being affected by those specific variations felt fair. Interesting. I think that it's fine for certain abilities to exist outside of, like, there's CC and DR, but this particular ability has no DR because Bacchus Belly Flop always hits you and always fucks you. So the conventional wisdom that this is approaching, or that this is talking about, is the idea that knockups are the best CC because since they are constrained by animation, there is no way to DR them. When Bacchus comes in and belly flops, you go up in the air and land. And if you got stunned twice beforehand, you still go up in the air and land. You don't go up in the air and land quickly because you're diminishing returns. So therefore, knockups are always best. They're always best used as the last form of CC because if you were to knock up root stun versus root stun knockup, the latter CC combination is going to be much more effective in keeping an enemy stationary than the former. And so I think that is interesting, dynamic, perhaps poorly defined, like the rest of the crowd control. This is something that casters have been asking for a while. And so a better definition of crowd controls is super welcome, super awesome. Let's see how they did it. Hard CC is now defined as any crowd control that makes it impossible to either basic attack, use an ability 1, 2, 3, or 4, or WASD. Hard CC applies 1 stack of DR, and the durations are affected by the number of C blah blah blah. Roots are now considered a hard CC. They were previously. That's why I use root first in my input. True hard CC is a subclassification of hard CC defined as hard CCs that are not affected by DR. Banishes, grabs, knockbacks, knockups, polymorphs, and pulls. These are all constrained by animation. Freya Whoop technically isn't, but Freya Whoop, we used to call it a super CC because it just, you got Whoop, bro. And like there was no animation that kept you up there. Technically, devs could shorten that animation. It wasn't like a knockup or a knockback, where a knockback you're like, whoa! You can't fall faster. You can't just like fast fall like it's fucking Melee. And so, those Banish is kind of separate. Kepri hugs you and pulls you, and that's just how long the pull is. Same thing with the knockups. Polymorphs, I guess, fall into Banish, where technically it could be shorter, and I feel like it used to be on the DR. But I guess not. But Polymorph and Banish are choices to make. Like I said, we used to call them Super CC. They're choices to ignore DR, and I like that choice. The fact that they apply DR, and they apply DR double as much as regular CC, I think is really cool. Because this now, playing around DR has always been an aspect of the game, even at mid to low tier gameplay levels. However, now it is more upfront, more defined, more easy to understand, and so you can now punish a player for doing it incorrectly. You were kind of punished for using your knockback early instead of late in the CC chain because it put on the DR, but it was just sort of like, well, they got hit by a CC, so they go over DR, blah, 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 blah. Now you apply 2 stacks instead of 1. That's a bigger deal. You're being punished. Cool. I love this. As long as this information remains easy to find. This needs to be here the day the patch goes out. This table needs to be there immediately. Yeah, so the polymorphs are Kurnos and the Morgan. There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing about a polymorph or a banish that forces it to be that amount of time. Grabs, knockbacks, knockups, and pulls are all animation constrained. You can't just cancel the Pele or the Kepri pull early because of DR. Maybe technically you can, but it would be a big pain in the ass. And like I said, it is a fun game mechanic that some of these CCs ignore DR. Banishes and polymorphs are just, there is no animation limitation. It just is. And that's fine. I think some people might take issue with that. And to them, I say, suck an egg. This is cool. Soft CCs are any crowd control that make it more difficult to do a specific reaction, including all the other shit. But they're not impossible. So things like intoxicate, things like trembles, things like blind, things like whatever they call deafening, auditory stuff, slows. This used to be root. No longer is. That's a hard CC. Soft CCs, they don't apply, nor are they affected by stacks of DR. Root used to be. And that was cool. Individual abilities can apply more than 2 stacks of DR if the ability includes multiple types of CC. Like Sobek. Sobek flip stuns you and knocks you back, so you're taking 3 stacks of DR for a Sobek flip. That's probably worth it. It would make Kernan Assault obsolete. Probably. Hera. That's what I meant. I was picturing the animation, but yeah. That's true, Almazi. The game has shifted where everything that mentioned hard CC said hard CC and roots. So now you just include roots with hard CC to limit a lot of the verbiage on that stuff. Yeah, sure. This is a modernization of the game that I am okay with. I am down. Sure, I am I would rather see roots be considered soft CC because I think that's cool and interesting to like root into hard CC into super CC, THCC, Thock. Can we say Thock? My space bar doesn't Thock, but like, can we say nobody's saying Thock? Just say super CC, please. Anyway, but I don't care. Like, I would rather see this here than there, but like, not by much. Like, I really don't care. I am so happy with this change. You have taken an invisible rule, made it visible. You have made it more interesting and dynamic by changing it from 2 to 4. You have increased the reward for CC chaining correctly just by changing it from 2 stacks to 4 stacks. You have also increased the reward for CC chaining by defining a lot of this stuff. This is one of my favorite changes that SMITE game has made in a long time with respects to health of the game. Everybody said, like, you always hear Reddit, like big Reddit brain is like, stop making skins and make a patch that just makes everything better. By the way, they did that with Paladins once, and nobody fucking played that patch. So, like, tried it, bro, not worth. They did play the remaining patches, but there's no reason that you can't just do something like this every couple of patches. Also, just from a designer aspect, which nobody likes to think about the designers, but please think of the corporations. I say that like half tongue in cheek, but actually think about the fact that real people are designing your games here. There's a zillion things that need to be fixed, but there's also like almost think about like your day-to-day life at home. There's a bunch of things that need to be fixed around the house. You could stop buying groceries and stop going out and stop doing all of this shit just to spend a month fixing the squeaky stair and changing the light bulb in the hallway and making sure that the door. Or you could replace the batteries in the smoke alarms and continue living your life. And then next month, fix the squeaky stair and continue living your life. And that keeps you kind of fucking sane. As a designer, what a lot of times, like, what's happening here with DR is 3 months ago, I'm making this up, but this is how this goes. 3 months ago, Ajax walked in and went, DR is fucked up. Nobody knows what the fuck a CC is. Nobody knows what a hard CC is. Nobody knows what any of this is. Like, there's nothing in game. Also, 2 stacks of DR. Fucking lame, dude. So, how do we fix it? And they talked about it for 20 minutes, and they went, cool, we got a lot of ideas. Go home and figure it out. Let's do the rest of balance. Fuck Bakasura, am I right? And then they continued on with their meeting. And then the next week they come in, and like Clumsy goes, yo, I had a cool idea. Maybe we should make Roots Heart CC. They go, cool. And they write it down. They think about it, talk about it for 5 or 7 minutes, and they move on to, wow, magical ADCs are fucking whipping the llama's ass. We better change something. Let's look at Tahuti, right? Same thing with the Arthurian items. Like these aren't things that you come together and change in a meeting. These are long-term changes. And so something like DR, like all the other issues that SMITE has, these are better. Give me 1 or 2 a patch and do the rest of the housework. So I like this change. I like the way it was changed. I like the way it's implemented. This is a total dunk from the SMITE designers. A+, we love it. Cool. Some gods that apply 2 different CCs kind of fuck themselves. So here it is. On her, Impale, Ares, No Escape. So Ares, No Escape, that's the ultimate. It won't double DR. It'll just count as a single stack of DR for stun. It won't count as a pull. Is that what we're saying? On her, won't count as a pushback and a stun, it'll just count as a stun. Unless it doesn't stun, then it just counts as a pushback. Is that what I'm reading? Am I reading that correctly? I think so. I think so. Avoiding Smite Red is a real big move. Facts. What's up, Susie Q? How you doing, friends? It makes it harder for me to blame the art department about students. Well, I mean, the art department is when it comes to the art department is a part of balance sheet. That does happen. I'm not talking about Smite specifically, but other games, like Rainbow Six. Your characters have guns that are specific to them, and then they have this little passive indicator. You can't really for example, one of the characters has 3 charges of a grenade. You can't give her 4 charges until Art makes a new passive indicator. Well, Art might be backed up for 5 months, so you just fucking can't do that. You can change how strong those 3 charges are. You can change how quickly she gets the 3 charges back. You can change but you can't give her 4, you can't give her 2, so you are still constrained by Art, which is just a reality of game design. That kind of sucks, to be completely honest with you. But that's just reality of how it works. So, I see. They increase the duration of the back end so that stuns are not indirectly nerfed because of DR shakers. I see. So these abilities, even though they have 2, they're just not. They're exceptions because of the way it works. Cool. Okay. The Wild Hunt provides 1 instead of 2. Hera provides 1 instead of 2. Cool. Aren't these the only motherfucking polymorphs? Polymorphs in the future will add 2, but these polymorphs were created in a system where they only provided 1 stack, and so they were invented with the old DR system in mind, and so with the modernization of the new DR, these have to be the exceptions to the rule. Oh, I don't like that as much, but it just has to be. It's kind of like brawling. It's not lazy. It's just inelegant, but also you got a better idea, bro. Yeah. Herc also has to be investigated because it's a stun and a push. Sure, I am. Yes, this is the unfortunate, inelegant exception to the rule. These tooltips are already really fucking big, but I think you need to put it in the tooltip. I don't know if you put it here. Damage, polymorph duration, slow, DR stack application. Maybe you do. Honestly, I would. So if I was sitting in the design room or a bounce or whatever the fuck, this is what I would say. I would like to see that included as a category here. I'm not super horny about that change, but I think it's the right decision. I'm not sure if it is, so I say it out loud and I see what my colleagues have to say. Do you guys think that DR stack, because now that diminishing returns is officialized, is that really a word? Anyway, I have to look that up. There's no way. All right, it's a word. Okay. Now that DR is officialized, it's a part of the game. It's out there. Does that impact me when I'm using my shit? And I think yes. Cripple is a soft CC, question mark? Cripple is not included. Cripple is not a root. Cripple and root are two different CCs. For example, you are crippled inside Cupid Ultimate, but not rooted. A lot of abilities can do both, like a Wheelish Feather Step, although it's a half a second. Like, I think Scylla, does Scylla shit cripple as well? Bramble Blast. No, it's just a root. No, it is a root and cripple. LOL. No, cripple prevents you from using movement abilities. So a root makes you stand still. You can't WASD, but you can get rooted and then jump away. So when you are Sylvanas rooted, you can on her leap out of the bullshit, the verdant growth, right? You are just rooted. You can turn around and on her disperse. Look at me using abilities, you fucking idiots, telling me I don't know anything. So you can do that. But when you are, like I said, when you are Scylla rooted with Sikkim, Scylla sends 2 unfolded, downed, rooting, and crippling the first enemy hit. You cannot move, you cannot WASD, but if you turn to on her disperse, you'll notice at the bottom of your screen there's a big red arrow or a big red line across your disperse, meaning you can't do that, dog, because you are crippled. So root, just make sure that you stand still. Cripple, make sure that you can't do anything about it. A lot of the roots in the game have turned into cripples as well, but not all of them. That's why the distinction is there, and I think that that's a distinction that needs to stay, because honestly, I would probably take cripple away from Scylla, to be completely honest with you. I don't think Scylla root also needs a cripple, but I do think whose root has a cripple that I like? Yeah, you can dash out of every root that doesn't cripple. Cripple is the thing preventing you from doing it. Art Trap. Yeah. Yes. Art Trap, you absolutely should be able to jump out of, mainly for flavor, but also, like, that's the way she, like, it works with her kit. Scylla could probably lose the cripple, in all honesty. Like, okay. Woof. Sorry about that. Ares only has a cripple, so you can run, but you can't jump. And that feels good, because Ares is such a unique character when it comes to design space. Like, he doesn't have peel, but he hurts you so hard that you turn around anyway, which is kind of peel. I mean, so here's the thing. How does Scylla ever secure Crush effectively? I don't give a fuck. Crush hits for 1,200 damage in the late game. Fuck you. You don't have to secure it. Just throw it out and hope it hits somebody. Root is going to be effective against 25% of the cast. I don't know how many people don't have a dash. But also, stripping somebody of their dash is a good thing. If I Scylla root you, you choose between burning your Agni dash or getting hit by my crush in the pelvis. And so, like, I think that is a fun choice. I think Scylla tears it up. I think Scylla needs a nerf. But Scylla's identity is her incredible amount of damage on Crush and I'm a Monster. The fact that Sikkim hits for like way too high is also crazy. I would probably investigate bringing this scaling down, but I think removing Scylla Cripple would be a big, like a big push. But yeah. Anyway, there are cripples that are separate from roots. We don't know if a cripple is true hard CC, or soft CC. It is probably considered soft CC. Well, no. Hard CC is defined as any crowd control that makes it impossible to do at least one of the following actions: basic attacks, non-movement abilities, and movement inputs. So basic attacks are below the 3. Movement inputs WASD. Non-movement. So this is specifically not cripple. Zeus could do with a stun back. Oh my god. Oh my god. Aggro channeling the OCE. Aggro is channeling through the OCE. What's up, Handlin? Making your way back to Diamond. We'd love to see that. Hell yeah. So cripple is not a hard CC. Because cripple doesn't prevent you from moving. It doesn't prevent you from basic attacking. And it doesn't prevent you from using a non-movement ability. When you're in Cupidal, you can still use your 1, 2, 3, 4 as long as it's not a jump or a dash. You can still WASD and you can still left click. So cripple is not a hard CC. Soft CCs are crowd control that make it more difficult to do a specific action, including those, but it's not impossible. So intoxicates, it's more difficult to move, but not impossible. So cripple is not affected by DR whatsoever. I would be fine with detonate feather step rooting. Give me a 0.5 root on detonate. I'll be down with 0.5 detonate. So yeah, so cripples are soft CCs. They're irrelevant to DR. Cool. Oh, Guang. So right now, Cardinals and Hera are doing this. Hell yeah. Huge props to our all-star programming team who helped minimize this list as much as possible. Super important. Shout outs to everybody. Kwong. What even is this passive? I don't even fucking know, to be honest with you. Every 12 seconds, he gets a stack. With a stack available, his next ultimate ability, non-ultimate ability that deals damage to an enemy god. So, like, his next ability that hits something has reduced cooldown and heals. When you execute somebody, it's fully charged. So, if you just fuck off for 12, 24, 36 seconds, and you attack somebody, your first rotation of abilities heal you and also are just on cooldown for a less amount of time. So if I just like go fuck off in the jungle for a while, and then I come out, I blink, and I wild storm. My wild storm's on cooldown for 5 seconds instead of 7, and I'm healed. And then I dragon call, and I'm attacking them. And my dragon call's on cooldown for 9 seconds instead of 10 or 11. And I get a heal. And then I water illusion in place because I'm an asshole. And it's on cooldown for 13 seconds instead of 15. And I heal. The heal being more important on some abilities. The CDR being more important on other abilities. So the idea is like I come in and I fucking just gobble you up and hopefully it works out. And if it doesn't, then I can use my abilities again. But if it doesn't work out after that, I'm probably worm food. So I kind of like the way that works. This is an uninteresting passive made interesting due to the way the character works, which means it's an interesting passive. I like that. Really? I get to view it? What are you going to show me here? Wow. I'm going to full screen this so you guys can see this awesome video. Check this out. You ready? Also, I think that's demonstrating the old passive, which had something to do with basic attack. I don't think this is demonstrating the new passive, which I don't think... Let's run it back, folks. Yeah, about that. Cool. So now you have to fuck off for 10 seconds at a time. I'm down. Cool. I think this change is irrelevant. I just don't think this change is relevant. Combined with water illusion, increased magical power scaling from 60 to 70, increasing players' desire to want to use this offensively. Cool. I don't think this changes the play. I don't think this makes this character. I don't think this makes this character more interesting. I don't think this makes the character more interesting at all. I think this is a nothing, and this is a something, but not much. Also, I don't know where the fuck else I would tweak in. So, oh well. What would I do if I want more players to play out Quam? What do I do? I look at itemization. Honestly, I look at itemization. That's really what I do. Kerberos. He's heavily affected by DR changes. He's getting a buff and a revert to compensate. Cool. Increase the healing reduction applied. Give characters their identity. Let them do what they're supposed to do. Cerberus is picked as an anti-heal character. If that anti-heal number is too low, he's no longer an anti-heal character. Please let characters be niche. Cool. Cool. Don't care. Cupid. Valentine's Day is long in the rearview mirror, and poor little Cupid's felt a bit left out. We've seen how strong he can be as the wave clear is good, so while the Heart Bomb buffs can help us clear, it shouldn't make his zero clear too oppressive. So Heart Bomb does more damage to minions. Cool. Share the Love heals more per heart. This ability sucks, so I'm down with any buff to it. Cool. Discordia. I did mention the background needed a bit more chaos, didn't I? Shut the fuck up. Reaper, I see you. Strife. Deals more damage. We love that. Just kidding. Erratic behaviors. That's a jump. Cool. I think that these changes are interesting. This was Finch's least favorite ability in the game. What do? You're just totally fucked. Sure. I would have liked to see this change be more about Unruly Magic's minor damage. I think that could have been more fun. I don't think Strife needs to do more damage. I think this is a big deal. 16 to 15 doesn't feel like much. Give me 16 to 14 or 16 to 13. I think 1 second cooldown reductions are unfeelable. That's what I'm going to go with. Unfeelable. So I don't love the 15-second CD. CD's nuts. Give me 14 or 13, but yeah, I'm down. In general, I like the idea to buff Discordia. I would have liked to see the buff on Unruly Magic instead of Strife because I would like to see just because I want to. But I don't think this is a bad change. And again, I would have liked to see a heavier shift here, but I don't think it's a bad change. Increased cooldown reduction on Argus from 1 to 1.5. Increased cooldown reduction on Commanding Presence. What do you mean cooldown reduction? Oh, is that when you... So I love... So... Okay, I gotta see what this is. So I actually really love the Hera passive. When you basic attack with Argus up, he extends his duration. And when you basic attack with Argus down, his cooldown... Yeah, okay, cool. So when you land a basic attack with Argus on cooldown, his cooldown is reduced by 0.3, like 1/3 of a second. Now it's going to be 1/2 of a second, which is super cool. They can honestly make this 1 fucking second, and it probably would be fine. Players don't make use of it enough, and B, 1 second, you're still like getting a total of 5 to 10 seconds off because you have to hit a god, right? You have to hit a god. And so the Argus is on cooldown for 90 seconds. You're building max cooldown reduction. You're gonna subtract like 5 to 10 seconds off of him if you're really, like I said, players don't even focus on it that much. Plus, putting yourself into that position with Argus down, if trying to you could even push this up to a second. I would be super happy with that. Moving it from 0.3 to 0.5 is totally fine. It also opens you up to moving it from 0.5 to 1.0 in the future. I think right now, Commanding Presence. So Commanding Presence feels like old school Spear of the Magus. Old school Spear of the Magus did pretty much exactly what it does now, where when you hit somebody, they take more damage from you. So it's great. Well, they take more damage from everybody. Old school Spear of the Magus used to be they take more damage from you, only you. And so it's awesome for dot-based characters. Except when you actually did the math, it wasn't. It was just better to buy a different fucking item. And so Spear of the Magus was actually dog water, even though it had a use case. And like, that's kind of what I feel like Hera Commanding Presence is. Like when you go out and you're trying to maximize your basic attacks to get your Argus up, you're not doing nothing, but like almost. You really aren't helping much. And the danger you put yourself in by putting yourself in basic attack range, the risk is adverse to reward. But I still do it because it is a fun gameplay loop to think, like, this is super fun to think about, totally underutilized with 0.33 of a second removed from the CD. So having it be changed to 0.5 is totally fine. I hope players make more use of it, and I would like to see it change to 1.0. Maybe that would be too strong, but I think you could do 1.0. I totally think you could. Hey, yo, Gov, welcome back, friend. Thank you so much, as always, for the sub love. Cooldown reduction. Oh, it happens with abilities as well. I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's the F-Man.
Okay. Also, I'm reading this wrong. So, Argus is reduced by 1 second. So, everything I just said is irrelevant. Divine Shroud's cooldown, the shield, is reduced by 0.3. Moved up to 0.5. P.S. Divine Shroud is also the immolation aura that Argus has. So Argus himself is getting boosted to... This reads really poorly, by the way. That's why I was confused. Got it. So, increased Argus's cooldown reduction from Commanding Presence from 1 to 0. Increased Divine Shroud's cooldown reduction from Commanding Presence from 0.3 to 0.5. So, this is super cool. Love this. This is super cool. Love this. I think moving this up to 1.0 would be OP. God, this reads poorly. Like, I dum-dummed this, but this was also handed to me kind of dum-dum. So, we'll kind of agree to disagree. I like this change. Thumbs up. Hercules, decreased cooldown on Driving Strike. Decreased cooldown on Earthbreaker so that the whole kickflip is cooldown reduced. Herc's real good. Yeah, I'm with Almazi. I don't know why Herc was buffed. I guess Herc was underplayed. I think Herc's real strong. Does 1 second break a character? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Giving overhead smash, knockup and knockup immunity has been a long time request for the community, but we didn't just stop there. Hunbat's what's going even, Shabulba. So overhead smash is now knockup and knockback immune, and it does more damage. By a lot. The increased damage was necessary. The knock-up and knockback immune is... I like it. So, this ability has a long wind-up time. And there kind of is no benefit for the long wind-up time. And there doesn't always have to be a benefit for a negative. Sometimes it's there for flavor. Sometimes it's there just to be different. I'm looking at you, Kumakarna. Groggy Strike is different and flavorful. It's not some crazy ability. It hits you for some damage and it roots you. But you can interrupt the hell out of him while he does it. And that's cool, because that's kind of like flavorful for the tired, yawning guy. And also, like, it's just different, so it's not an instant root. Cool. Overhand Smash, there really was no flavor. Like, why would the monkey... Like, why? There is no flavor there. So, okay. Cool. I think Hunbatsus 2 was outdated. Needed to do more damage. Like this change. Especially with the change that we've seen with, the tank patch or whatever. And then knock-up and knockback immune is... It should be. Like... In a perfect world, I just shorten the animation. But you can't do that. You would need a new animation. And animation is probably backed up. Yeah, exactly. It's from an era when there were longer, like, abilities just lasted longer. Thor spun forever, etc. And so this is kind of just an outdated ability. So this is how we update it. In a perfect world, we just shorten the ability. But you can't just, like, trim like you trim a YouTube video. You need animation to make a whole new animation. And like we said... There are realistic, like, this is the side of game dev that people don't think about. Animation are busy making animation for the new gods, the new skins, the new characters that are coming out soon, the new items that need animation, the new game modes that need animation. Like, so they're busy, so you might not be able to make that change to Overhand Smash for another 7 months. That's probably what I would do. Now you have, but I actually like this more so. Because now, it's not just an ability that does damage, now it's a tool. If Bacchus is coming in, I can hit my 2 early to make sure that I'm not knocked up. Even if I don't hit anybody, I'm using it to be immune to that bullshit. Tyr wants to come and fuck with me? Oh well, Tyr. Gotcha, bitch. So now you have a tool in your kit on a character that could probably use it. So I like this. It is fun. It is absolutely better like this, like Yada says. And like I said, in a perfect world, maybe you just change just to have a shorter wind-up time. But since there is a wind-up time, now you give the character a tool to sort of like get rid of, like, immune some stuff. I like that idea. Nike. Decrease cooldown from 14 to 12. Barrier. Increased damage. This is largely irrelevant to me. This is cool. I don't know if she'll see play. Especially with crit. Is it a crit nerf with CLH? Is everybody going to buy Celestial Helm? We'll see. Pele. Increased return. Pele is... I hate playing against Pele. A good Pele can really destroy you. Pyroclast. Increased return damage. Return damage is only relevant against great players. And if you're just CC change, then you're just going to die anyway. So, I like this. This increases the amount of damage that she does in the hands of a strong player, but not a weak player. This increases her clear. Sure. I like the change. Circuit. More base damage on Deathbane. Last Breath. Damage mitigation from 35 to 50. What? Okay, cool. So she gains damage mitigation when she ultimates. A lot of times, characters like Circuit, characters like Old Arachne, I don't even know why I'm referencing her, characters like... So I actually used this in a Facebook comment the other day. early game characters usually are characters that have high base stat values and low scale numbers because they do damage early without items. Sure. But another way to think about it, another thing that makes characters better early than late is how they deal their damage. Characters that are required to get in there and, like, you know, face fuck you like Circuit does, well, obviously, early game, you can get away with that more often than late game because you're just taking more burst damage late game than you are early game. So, dealing with it, blah, 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 blah. So, making sure that she has damage mitigation in last breath in the late game is important with respect to her being played as an assassin. And so, yes, I like this change a lot. All right. The next three gods have some pretty spicy changes coming. Uh-oh. We now have the capability to differentiate bonus damage to minions, allowing us to improve specifically jungle clear or specifically lane clear. Instead of due to the nature of SMITE, these gods will be buffed not just in the jungle, but in their trad roles as well. These jungle clear buffs are intentionally not on the primary clear abilities of these gods. Having only one ability that clears a camp well leads to one camp getting instantly killed, and then having to wait until that ability is back up before you can kill the next. Ares, I'm looking at you. These buffs are for gods we think we can fit the role of jungler because of past presence or assassin-like kit synergies. I love playing Ares jungle. I think this is a fun character that does well. So Ares is a god that saw a bit of play in the jungle a few seasons ago, but since then has struggled to consistently find viability in conquest. With this change, we hope that he can be a strong counter pick option that also brings a bit of flexibility. Change deals 40% extra damage to jungle monsters. Thumbs up. Cool change, necessary change if you want to see more in the jungle. I love this. Cool. You're still only going to get one change, but like that one change should be enough. Change your back camps, fire your big camps. Thumbs up. Love it. Danza Boro. God that has a lot of assassin-like qualities. He's a hunter, he's tricky, his hits are his abilities, one of the best gank tools in the game with his rocket. Plus, he bribed us into letting him jungle pick. That's cute. Now deals 40% extra damage to jungle monsters. That's his 2, right? The taunt. Again, cool. I don't think hunters are the characters that I think are hardest to bring into the jungle, but this is absolutely true. Danny is a fucking jungler. He's an assassin. So I'm down with this. And the Morrigan, Deadly Aspect, cool. Chunga. Oh, wait. Is this jungle as well? No. Got it. Chunga is a guy that plays like a battle mage, similar to Jean-Qui or Hades, meaning melee-oriented, a little bit tankier than normal. Her base stats don't reflect the playstyle. So she gets some base HP, 70. She gets 4 extra HP. Cool. Base stats. So she has 150 more HP at top level. I just don't give a fuck about base stats. I'm sorry. Like, am I being brain asleep here? 150, alright, like, if we're gonna complain, let's do it correctly. 2410 minus 2254. 156 HP? Like, does that matter? Am I being stupid here? I'm totally willing to be told that I'm being stupid here. I just don't think that these base stats fucking matter. I really don't think they matter. I think when people go, like, I hate, when people go like, oh, you're playing mage support? Oh, what a dickhead. You know how, and then every time you die, you're like, man, I wish you were a fucking tank. You go and you look at Ymir's fucking base stats. Right? And then you go and you look at the 823. This health is actually the biggest thing that's different. But, like, you look at these props, 36 to 40, and then you look at Nox, and guess what? 28 to 40. The health is a big difference, like I said, but the props are different. Like, and then at level 20, it kind of all evens out because while you are 2091, 700 HP is relevant. 700 HP is relevant. But your itemization is much more relevant. You know what I mean? Like, I also think the game is much more interesting with base stats neutralized. Because why shouldn't I play Nox support? You know, especially with the introduction of masks. Does anybody like base stats? Like, is it fun knowing that the mage is squishier than the tank naked? Because itemization is really where your stats are going. So is it fun? I don't think it is, but I don't know. Thank you, Russian. Appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. So this doesn't. I don't care. Cool. Like, I agree with this assertion, and I agree with the general idea of increasing her survivability, but I don't know that it matters. Thor. Cool. Jean-Qui. Cool. Starting at 9-7 with the capability of playing non-conquest balance, gods will now have percentage. Okay. I don't care. Don't care. And that's cool. So basically, the game is balanced around conquest. It always has been. It always will be. I don't know about that second part, but I sure as shit hope so. And looking at this, it sounds like it. Sorry for all you arena enjoyers. The game is designed and balanced around conquest. I know everybody on Reddit likes to say otherwise, but you're fucking wrong. And now here's proof. If they want to change something around arena or assault, they can do it here. Shouts to you 7/ players or whatever it's called now. Nerfs. Apwash. Oh, so this is non-conquest shit. Cool. Don't give a fuck. Nice. Michael Berger. Thumbs up, yo. We love to see it. So this will be, for the people that play non-conquest game modes, this will just be a lot to take in. This will just be really annoying for those that play non-conquest game modes. They're going to have to remember conquest rules and then remember that their Ares ult in arena just takes man long. Like, that's you know what I mean? And so that sucks, but like, sorry folks, I don't care. Yeah, so it shows in game. There'll be this little icon will show in game. It'll show you, but it'll just be another thing. It reminds me of Alchemy with Magic the Gathering, except I vehemently hate that. This is cool. Thumbs up, dude. Don't hate it. It's whatever. You know? Interessante. It's probably needed because a lot of people play non-conquest game modes. So this is needed. This is necessary. I don't care about it because I don't play these game modes. But if you do, this will give you a more balanced and fair game. So I like this patch. I'm a really big fan of what they've done with DR. I think that's super good. I think some of these changes to itemization are really cool. I love the general direction of trying to find more niche reasons to play characters. I love the itemization helping players discover the niche application of their character. I like this a lot. I think itemization has always shaped and formed SMITE meta, and here we have it shaping and forming SMITE meta, not just in which characters are strong, but which characters are strong at what? So we have two major things happen. Well, I guess three major things happening in this patch. One, an identification of niche roles and a maturation of those niche roles in the sense that they're getting items for those specific roles. They're getting the acknowledgement, and they want players to think more definitively about how Freya, Poseidon, Oleron, and Chang'e are different. They want players to start thinking about that more so than they have in the past, and I like that change. I like the change to DR because they're removing invisible rules. They're making things more visible. They're making things more defined. That is always, always, always well received, in my opinion. Definitely something we want to see. And then, honestly, I'm kind of memeing it a little bit, but this is actually a big deal because while there was never a change to a character because of assault, there were times where we would be a little reluctant to make a change because of other, and like that conversation is no longer the conversation. We don't have to worry about it. It's, you can do non-conquest balance specifically outside of conquest, which is a double down. It's a further investment into the main game mode being conquest. If you hang out in the SMITE circles, sometimes you get these conversations about how much Hi-Rez wants Conquest to be the main game mode. We have less players because League of Legends just has Summoner's Rift, which is MOBA, and ARAM. SMITE has Summoner's Rift, but also Assault and Slash and King of the Hill and a Pop Fist and all this shit. And that dilutes the play, and it doesn't want. But by putting out this non-conquest balance, I also think it's a signpost to players that conquest is the priority. So I like this as well. Non-conquest balance might be an Olympian thing, which is cool because your players are getting, noticed. But I wouldn't even point it as an Olympian thing. Like I said, I think it's an affirmation that conquest is the main game mode. That's what the game's being designed around against. And if you're upset that Ares kind of farms you in arena, well, here's your little alchemy icon, and we did something to him in that game mode, douchebag. Again, I'm memeing, but yeah. So I like the big three pillars of this patch for sure. I think it's a nice kind of look, and in general, I think it's the right look for SMITE game and where it's gonna be. I like the idea. I like the mentality. This is a good patch for sure. I don't know. Oh, cool. Another character to get confused with Bakasura. That's it. I'm going to go find some dinner. It is 7:48 p.m. Los Angeles time. I am getting some dinner. Take